About 6 weeks, the federal government will run out of money. We won't be able to pay our bills.
So, Senator, are you saying the United States is now about to go bankrupt and that the U.S. banks are also closing down, going bankrupt? And all of this is happening because the United States is trying to start World War III? Okay, so we've all heard that the U.S. is running out of money by June 1st. Yes, it's not just the banks that are collapsing, but U.S. government itself. But how did we get here? United States is basically the largest economy on earth. How is it possible it's running out of money and can't repay back its debt? Do you know what the United States spends its money on? Well, see, about 16% of all money that the government spends on is on defense or the military, right? And then another 4% is on veterans. So all up, that's 20%. So in other words, about 1/5 of all the money spent by the US government is basically towards going to war. Okay, you say there's a threat from countries like China. Maybe we need to spend that money to go to war with someone like China. This is the total amount of money spent on military around the world. US takes about 40% of the whole world. China, like something like 20%, and that's rest of the world. Why does the US need to spend that much money to go to war? Who with? And of course, we heard about all the banks. The private banks are collapsing inside the United States as well. There was Silicon Valley Bank, First Republic. That was the second largest bank collapse in US history. And now, just yesterday, this Western Pacific Bank or whatever, more banks are collapsing. Can the US government save these banks? So it is Janet Yellen at the Treasury that is basically saying they are considering to protect all the deposits, even the ones that are uninsured above $250,000 in every US bank, to try to stop this regional banking crisis. Because see, up to this point, it's the FDIC, Federal Deposit Insurance Company, that is protecting all your deposits. But they're running out of money. They don't have enough because so many banks are collapsing. So the Treasury needs to step in with emergency powers to protect the protectors of your deposits. So get this, the US banks are going bankrupt. And the ones who can protect them is the US Treasury or US government. And they're also going bankrupt. So what happens then when these banks go bankrupt? And why are they going bankrupt? Because they're trying to fund this war with China, supposedly, to fight World War III. But guess who the US government is asking to buy those US Treasury bonds to help finance the US government? That's right, you guessed it, China. See, if you add up the Treasury holdings of China and Hong Kong, which is part of China, both of those still makes China the overall largest holder of US Treasury bonds. So US will be asking China to buy those US Treasury bonds to pay for a war with China. Do you think China will buy those bonds?